Just another nigga known with the strap, man. Don't cap or your ass going cap, man. You never mix business with new friends. Get booked, then cooked by the crack, man. You gon' make a nigga slide with my jacks, man. With a pump that'll leave a nigga flat dead. Put that bitch to his shit and shoot again. Face shots, make a op do a back bend.
The victims are between 14 and 18 years old at last check. They're all in good condition here inside of the emergency room. Take a look at this video we have from overnight. You'll see a large response from Chicago police, multiple ambulances on the scene from the Chicago Fire Department. We're told this happened around 3 o'clock this morning near 25th Place in Washtenaw. Chicago police say officers were in the area when they heard the gunfire. At one point, you'll see police walking out two people who appear to be in handcuffs. We know there's a park nearby there. Cameras captured a lot of young people walking around and yelling in that area in the shooting's aftermath. Police say they found 4 gunshot victims, 3 girls, 1 18-year-old, 2 who are 16 years old. The 4th victim, a boy who is just 14 years old. Police say a male suspect ran off on foot before officers arrived, and early this morning, as early as 4 o'clock this morning, our crews saw a number of large teen gatherings on different parts of the west side. We did reach out to Chicago police this morning to see where they are at in this investigation. They say so far they have no one in custody. I'm reporting from Mount Sinai, Asal Razai, CBS News Chicago.
Well, those 4 young people who were shot, they were last listed in good condition here at Mount Sinai. They are expected to recover from their injuries. Officers say around 3 in the morning, that's when they were in the area near 25th and Washtenaw, and that's when they did hear gunshots. Officers say they did find those 4 victims. Among those who were shot include an 18-year-old, 2 16-year-old girls, and a 14-year-old boy. They were all taken to Mount Sinai Hospital, where they are currently being treated. It's still unclear what exactly led up to the shooting, and at the scene there was lots of debris and also trash scattered on the ground. Officers could also be seen escorting 2 people in handcuffs. It's unclear if they are facing any charges. Now, investigators say the shooter ran away from the scene. Police are asking the public to come forward with any information. We're live outside of Mount Sinai Hospital. Alyssa Nunez, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. Back to you.
Well, 4 teenagers were injured in a shooting in Little Village overnight. The youngest victim is 14. Angelica Sanchez is live at Mount Sinai Hospital with the latest on their conditions. Good morning, Angie.
Good morning, Jewel. Thankfully, police do tell us that all 4 victims are listed in good condition. Their ages range from 14 to 18 years of age. Now, police say that the shooting unfolded a little after 3 a.m. near Chicago's Little Village neighborhood on the 2500 block of Washtenaw. Police say officers in the area heard the gunfire, and when they went to look around the neighborhood, they discovered the 14 victims injured by gunfire. They say the injuries are as follows. An 18-year-old female victim was shot in her right buttocks. A 16-year-old female victim was shot in her left calf. Another 16-year-old female victim suffered a graze wound to the right leg, and a 14-year-old male victim suffered a graze wound to the right arm. Again, all 4 victims, they are in good condition. They were transported here to Mount Sinai Hospital. No arrests have been made in this case. Police do say that they are looking for a male suspect that ran away on foot. They continue their investigation this morning. Reporting outside Mount Sinai Hospital, Angelica Sanchez, WGN News.
All right. It is shaping up to be a violent holiday weekend with at least 16 people shot overnight. One of the most serious incidents involved an after-prom party on the city's southwest side. 4 teens ended up in the hospital. WGN's Angelica Sanchez spoke with witnesses who had to take cover.
Everybody knows is you heard shooting from this side, from that side of the block, then coming from that side. So a lot of people got under that gray car right there. We all was ducking.
A party on the 2500 block of South Washtenaw ended when bullets went flying.
A lot of people lost their belongings.
Police say the shooting sent 4 teenagers to Mount Sinai Hospital.
I'm saying I need to be third up for the person shot.
Police say an 18-year-old female victim was shot in the right buttocks. A 16-year-old female victim was shot in her left calf. Another 16-year-old female victim suffered a graze wound to the right leg, and the youngest victim, a 14-year-old male, suffered a graze wound to the right arm.
A lot of people had their hair done, makeup did. A lot of people, it was after prom party for them.
Neighbors and witnesses say most of the teens at the party appeared to have come from a prom.
It sounded like about 20, 30 gunshots. Crazy, crazy. I'm sure the elderly people that was in their house was crazy scared.
A frustrated neighbor who does not want to be identified for fear of her safety says she called 911 multiple times to report the party before shots rang out.
You could hear my voice is gone because I was arguing with the police 911, telling them, get out of here. These are kids. They don't know no better, especially when they intoxicated.
Police say all 4 victims are listed in good condition.
I thank God they okay.
Neighbors are relieved no one lost their life.
You got kids out here that's underage, gonna be drinking, doing drugs, and you know what's gonna happen.
No arrests have been made, but police do say that the suspect is described as a male offender that ran away. Area 4 detectives continue their investigation. Reporting near Little Village, Angelica Sanchez, WGN News.
Not only did multiple teenagers end up in the hospital as a result of a large gathering, we know there were many on different parts of the west side overnight. 5 Chicago police officers were also sent to the hospital after a car drove through one of those crowds.
There's a large teen gathering.
Calls we heard over police scanner radio giving a look into what Chicago police were up against in the middle of the night near Loomis and Roosevelt.
We've got about 100 teens dispersing south of Roosevelt and Loomis.
Large groups of teenagers in the street, this time on the west side.
This car just ran through a whole crowd of Chicago police officers.
This video posted to social media shows the moments after a driver went through a crowd of people, including police officers.
They get 3 ambulances over there. Officer was struck.
Police say 5 officers were taken to the hospital. An 18-year-old man arrested after driving a blue sedan in the wrong direction, eventually crashing into a pole and then a fence.
The accountability mechanism.
Today, Mayor Brandon Johnson reacting to a violent weekend so far.
These unauthorized gatherings, as we have indicated multiple times, that they can be dangerous. And in this case, we saw the manifestation of that danger.
Within the same hour, those officers were injured, gunshots rang out, while other Chicago police officers were near Washtenaw Park. Police say they found 4 gunshot victims there, 3 girls, 1 18-year-old, 2 16-year-olds. The 4th victim, a boy who is just 14 years old. Police say a male suspect ran off on foot before officers arrived. We captured police on scene walking out with 2 people in handcuffs. Mayor Brandon Johnson saying the accountability cannot just lie with the teenagers in this case.
We need our parents to know where their children are. I know where my son was at 3 o'clock in the morning. After he went to prom, he came home. And we need parents to ensure that their children are coming home.
In connection to the mass shooting that left the 4 teens in the hospital, Chicago police say so far they've made no arrests. Reporting from Chicago Police Headquarters, MS Al-Razai, CBS News Chicago.
A 4-year-old man critically hurt after he was shot while driving in West Englewood, and right now police still looking for the shooter. Officers say someone in a dark SUV stopped nearby and opened fire before driving away. That was near 71st and Ashland around 4:45 this morning. The victim was taken to the hospital in critical condition, and again, that shooter got away.
And we want to turn now to some breaking news that we're following from the Auburn Gresham neighborhood, where we now know a 74-year-old man has been shot and killed. Let's go now to Chris Habermill, who's live in CBS Skywatch tracking this for us. Chris?
Hi, Marissa. We pulled in over the scene here with the information that the individual was in a home here, and there's a row of bungalow-style houses here in the 8100 block of South Laughlin, right on the west side of the property of Cook Elementary School, a public school here in Auburn Gresham. And you can see that police squads have pulled up out here about 1:30 this afternoon, a little before a 74-year-old man was shot twice and taken eventually by ambulance to Christ Hospital in Oak Lawn, where he was pronounced dead. Now, as we've been surveying the scene out in front, number one, there's crime scene tape all over the place here, but that also extends into the lot at Cook Elementary School. Now, going in tight on one of these vehicles down here, we've noticed that on the driver's side window, there is evidence of a bullet strike there. There's a large hole that's been blasted in there, and police have actually been examining this. So forensics is down here. They're starting to place evidence markers, and the detectives have been talking to people, including individuals that were in the lot here by their other cars at Cook Elementary, who may have been part of the faculty here. So it's a complex scene. Details are real sketchy. We're putting it all together, and we'll have more as soon as that becomes available. Over Auburn Gresham, Chris Habermill, CBS News, Skywatch.
And Joe, there was heavy police presence outside of Franciscan Hospital earlier this morning. Authorities say 33-year-old Deputy John Samuelson was shot after helping who he thought was a stranded motorist who needed medical attention.
Was weapon opening fire in the waiting room.
An alarming call from Indiana Police Radio after police say 22-year-old Sherrod Grafton Jr. shot 33-year-old Deputy John Samuelson.
Base Michigan City Fire for shooting at Franciscan, 3500 Franciscan Way, 3500 Franciscan Way for shooting, officer down.
These are moments after the shooting, bringing officers from around the area here to Franciscan Health just after 7 a.m. Indiana State Police say a short time earlier, Deputy Samuelson, seen here 4 years ago, pulled over to help a stranded motorist whose car was broken down about 15 minutes away from here. That driver, identified by state police as 22-year-old Sherrod Grafton Jr., reportedly asked Samuelson to take him to Franciscan Health in Michigan City. Minutes after dropping him off there, Deputy Samuelson was notified that Grafton was suspected to be involved in a crime in Chicago. The canine deputy returned to the hospital. There was a physical altercation, and that's when police say Grafton pulled out a gun and shot Samuelson 3 times, then ran from the hospital. He was caught a short time later in a wooded area near the hospital, and a gun was recovered.
It makes us feel angry. This is a senseless shooting that didn't have to take place.
Authority says Samuelson's father, who is a retired officer, now works part-time as a security officer for the hospital and was inside at the time of his son's shooting. Samuelson has been with the LaPorte County Sheriff's Office for 12 years. He comes from a family with long law enforcement history.
This officer thought he was helping a stranded motorist, and it turns into this.
4 years ago, the LaPorte County Sheriff's Office posted these pictures to their Facebook page about Samuelson and how he rushed his canine partner, Bosco, to the vet after a lengthy fugitive operation. Deputy Samuelson was taken by helicopter to South Bend Memorial Hospital in critical condition. As for the suspected shooter, Sherrod Grafton Jr., he's now in the Porter County Detention Facility awaiting charges.
Hi, Marissa. As you mentioned, no charges to report in this case just yet, and we are here waiting to see if that'll happen outside of this facility. But the big question this afternoon, the question we're asking and have been asking police specifically, how did this person get a gun into an ER?
Question that we have, and that'll be part of the investigation that we'll focus on, and I'm sure that will come out in the investigation.
We called the Indiana State Police Firearm Licensing Office and learned that Indiana state law prohibits firearms in some areas, like schools, state fairgrounds, and airports. But the office told us there's no specific statewide hospital policy. They said each hospital has the ability as a private entity to set their own rules. And when we tried asking what the rules were for this specific hospital, Franciscan said they wouldn't be answering any additional questions. Police did tell us it wasn't clear yet if Grafton was searched before entering the ER.
It makes us feel angry.
This is the third hospital shooting to happen in the last few weeks across our area in Illinois and Indiana. The first at Swedish Hospital when a suspect is accused of shooting and killing a Chicago police officer and critically injuring his partner. In that case, the hospital said they'd wanted the suspect, who was already in custody when they got there. The second case in Gary, Indiana. This time, the hospital said the man involved had a gun and was threatening to hurt himself or others when a security officer shot him. The third, this incident in Michigan City. Now, we have been reaching out to all 3 of the hospitals that we just mentioned to see if they have any sort of plans to reevaluate their safety protocol and honestly for more details about what their protocol is. The hospitals either told us that they were not in a position to respond or have not answered our requests at all. We will keep following up.
And a family is grieving and searching for answers after someone shot and killed Capri Alston. This happened in Dalton, and so you may remember that name. He's a former professional basketball player. Leslie Marino is live in Dalton tonight. And Leslie, you spoke with his family. I can only imagine how they're feeling right now.
Brett, we just spoke to Capri Alston's family outside the medical examiner's office on the west side, where they just identified his body less than 24 hours after this all happened. Take a look behind me here. You can still see the crime tape where this all occurred. According to Dalton police, 31-year-old Capri Alston was shot and killed late last night near the 115th East Street and South Martin Luther King Drive intersection. Tonight, his loved ones are devastated, heartbroken, and still trying to process what happened. Family members tell Fox Chicago Alston had been at the Rucker Cigar Lounge with his girlfriend before the shooting happened. Relatives say there was some type of confrontation before gunfire broke out. Investigators have not publicly released details about what exactly led up to the shooting. Loved ones describe Alston as a talented basketball player, a devoted father of 2, and someone who was deeply loved by his family and friends. Tonight, his family says they are pleading for answers and hoping for a full investigation into what happened.
I can't even begin to tell you how I'm feeling. Capri, I always say this, he was my favorite basketball player. He was his, he was a mama's boy, you know, his mother, and he was his sister's, his siblings' protector. And so we're crushed, we're devastated. We can't even believe that this happened because Capri was so well loved and liked, not only in Chicago, but across the state, across this United States. He went everywhere, played basketball, had an amazing career overseas, high school. So there's a lot of people that are devastated, and we're just crushed right now. We can't believe this happened.
We did reach out to Dalton Police for additional information. They tell us one person is in custody, but no arrests have been announced. We will have much more on this coming up tonight at 9. Brett.
Police in Dalton have someone in custody in connection with a deadly shooting that took the life of a former high school basketball standout. And tonight we're hearing from the father of Capri Alston, mourning his son's death and looking for justice.
Just trying to figure out, why, and, that question keeps just replaying over and over in my head, trying to figure out why.
Capri Alston was shot and killed during an argument with a man outside a business on MLK Jr. Drive. His father, Pastor Chenier Alston, has a church in Georgia, but is in our area tonight. He tells us what happened.
Scuffle ensued. They started fighting, and my understanding that I noticed, this is what I'm hearing, that he ran and got a gun, shot my son once, and then came and stood over him and shot him twice.
Pastor Alston says his son was a star basketball player at Thornwood High School in South Holland. He went on to play pro ball overseas before retiring a few years ago.
He was a former Thornwood High School basketball standout. He was a person who just loved life, loved basketball.
Alston was a father of 2 children, a son and daughter. He leaves them behind along with his mother and father and 5 siblings.
He was a mother's boy, and he was just a protector of his siblings.
One person has been taken into custody, but police have not publicly identified the suspected shooter.
I'm sad. I'm angry. Also, I do trust God. My faith is what's really holding me steady and solid. But still, that was my son.
The charges have not yet been filed, and police calling this tonight an active investigation.
Chicago police are warning about a string of armed robberies near popular nightlife spots. A group of thieves holding more than a dozen people at gunpoint in recent weeks, stealing phones and money from their bank accounts. Now, in some cases, the victims were even kidnapped. NBC5's V. Wynn is reporting.
Natalie, some of the victims were targeted while out on Clark Street here in Wrigleyville. Chicago police believe a group of up to 4 men is responsible for this crime spree that began back in April.
I mean, it's insane. I can't
I mean, this is supposed to be a safe area.
Lindsay Slay recently moved to Chicago from South Bend, Indiana. She works on Clark Street and is settling into Lakeview, but says news about what happened has her being extra careful and vigilant.
You can't trust anyone. I mean, you have to always watch your back.
Since early April, Chicago police have been investigating at least 15 armed robberies in River North, Streeterville, and Lakeview. The victims told police they had their phones stolen late at night or in the early morning hours. The latest incidents happened near LaSalle and Ohio and Addison and Clark this past weekend.
I guess from up here, it does make a little more sense with the bars and everything and the nightlife in the area.
Police say the thieves even used the victims' phones to access their bank accounts to steal their money. In 5 of the robberies, police say the victims were forced into the suspect's car and driven around while the thieves made those fraudulent transactions and transfers.
I definitely am more cautious of being aware of who's around me when I'm out and about, but for the most part, it is still, I would like to think that the city's still really safe and everything, especially the neighborhood that I'm in.
At this time, Chicago police only have a vague description of the suspects. Police say some of the vehicles used in these cases include a dark-colored sedan or SUV. Reporting in Lakeview, V1 NBC 5 News.
Eyes open. Well, 2 women were shot overnight while sitting in an SUV in Humboldt Park. It happened just before 9 last night near Chicago and Avers. The women told police they heard gunshots, then realized they'd been hit. One of them was struck twice in the chest and 2 more times in her arm. The other woman was shot in the leg. They were both taken to the hospital in fair condition. No arrests have been made.
A 17-year-old boy is in the hospital after an overnight shooting on the city's near west side. This happened around 2 this morning on Randolph and Hoyne. You see more than 20 evidence markers on the scene. The teen standing outside when he was shot. He then drove himself to Stroger in serious but stable condition now. No one is in custody.
Certainly a tough day for this family and all who cared for this young boy, Rob. As you mentioned, that 2-year-old was taken here to Comer Children's Hospital, initially in critical condition, but sadly he died. Let's take you over to some video that was captured just hours ago. Evidence technicians seen at the scene of a heartbreaking loss. Chicago police say this happened at 104th near South Maryland Street in the city's south side. It's not yet known how, but police say after 12:30 Sunday afternoon, a 2-year-old boy suffered a self-inflicted gunshot to the head. Community activists say these tragedies serve as a reminder for parents and caregivers to do better.
We can't keep losing our babies because of some adult things. And so whether it's gun locks or gun safety kits or whatever the case may be, or just plain paying attention, we got to be proactive or preactive.
Police say a 31-year-old man was taken into custody. Police have not said if that man will face any charges, nor what that relationship or what the possible relationship might be between that individual and the 2-year-old boy.